Rest in peace before you decease, and painful day to fade away or ready to slay. It's FunderCast 950. Hey there, Tony here. Rest in peace, will you? Just rest in peace. Just enjoy those 3 simple words and just rest in peace. Oh, wait a second. Those are not usually used this way, are they? What they are 3 simple words, and probably a large percentage of people who say those words, they actually mean them when they say them. In other words, they aren't just something they blurt out, right? But there's also a large percentage of people who I think who just speak the words. Rest in peace. I hope he rests in peace. Well, may he rest in peace. But here's the thing. It's crucial to rest in peace before you die. Otherwise, you might spend an eternity wondering why friends didn't try to help you avoid the terrible consequences of your apathy towards God. And that's in spite of the fact that at least one did try. Okay, if you haven't caught on to what I'm leading up to, here it is. I just found out a few days ago that a guy who was a close buddy of mine in the 80s and into the 90s died almost exactly 2 months ago. And we haven't kept in touch for a long time because our friendship sort of dissipated and dissolved about 20 years ago. That's when he decided he finally couldn't take any more of my Christian worldview. And that's because he was a committed atheist. Real nice guy, too. But even when we were buddies, I knew he was an atheist and he knew I was a Christian. But those were the days when I was a full-time professional musician. And let's just say I didn't let my Christian worldview get in the way of me sowing some wild oats, okay? Let's just leave it at that for right now. So as a result, our worldviews didn't clash, his atheism and my theism. They didn't clash. But once I decided to stand up for my faith again, that buddy thing went cold pretty fast. Now, in recent years, I heard through some mutual connections that he had battled cancer and that he had some remission time too. But through a series of searches the other day, I just happened to see something that made me think, well, I'm going to look him up. And I found his obituary page online. And it said, there was a line in there that said he put up a tenacious fight with cancer and passed away peacefully under hospice care. So obviously the cancer came back too strong for him. Now, to say we were buddies, that's putting it mildly, because I met him through his cousin, who I dated for a few years. And once she and I split, and once another good friend of mine that I would hang out with a lot, once he got married, well, this guy and I would hang out a lot. He was a little less than 2 months older than me, and we brought in his 30th birthday together in Telluride, Colorado, and then we spent my 30th birthday together in Austin, Texas. Not just the two of us. We had some friends that joined us in both places, but he and I traveled to the places together. Anyway, we even put his art skills and my word skills together for some epic Christmas card designs for a couple of years. And his artistic abilities were awesome. I can say that genuinely from the heart. He was quite the artist. I wish I had some that I could share, but I don't have any that I can share. And he didn't pursue an art career. He could have. Everybody told him that. And basically everyone who saw his work commented on how realistic his drawing and his painting was. And it was. His obituary describes it real nicely. It says, Scott was highly regarded for his intelligence, precision in architectural steel design, and perceptiveness as a visual artist. Yes, that was very, very true. But he stuck with the architectural steel design work because he couldn't bring himself to accept the commercialism of an art career. And his architectural steel design work paid well. But doing the stuff that he told me at the time he didn't like, the steel design work, instead of the art, that inspired me to write about his quandary. I'll share that in a minute. He's also the guy who designed my signature logo. He did that 40 years ago. I still use it, and I will use it for as long as I write because it's my signature, and it's at the end of all my posts at tonyfunderburk.com. It's at the end of them all. It's in blue, and the coolest part of it is how he took my actual signature and transformed it into a smooth logo on the short music scale. He thought I had really great handwriting, and he took that into another level and made it into a logo. And I thought that was so cool, putting it on the music scale. And that was way before there were all the digital tools that any dork with a computer can use to manipulate images these days. Now, he and I had a lot in common, our taste in food and wine and lots of other things. It was very similar. We both enjoyed the same kinds of music. And he was one of the first to follow my music career as it got started way back in Houston, Texas in the 80s. Plus, he was one of only 8 people that Elgeline and I had at our wedding, not including the minister. And he even joined us on the Colorado ski slopes the following day as we spent a little bit of a short honeymoon there. I could go on with, fond memories and recollections, but none of those memories bring me peace about him right now. Because I'm not sure he's able to rest in peace right now. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what his last days were like, but I know that, as I mentioned, he was a committed atheist. I'll give him credit. He stood for it. He didn't back away from it. He wasn't lukewarm. But that's not a good position to be in when death comes, if my worldview is correct, and it is. So I'm deeply saddened to think about what his existence has been for the past 2 months. I keep thinking about that. Oh my goodness. Scott might have been in hell for the last 2 months. I hate to think of someone I spent so much time with in a dark, tormenting place without hope of reprieve. I hate to think of him there. And since our ages were so close, his death is definitely a reminder that this time on earth is super short. You don't know when that last breath's going to leave your body or when the Lord will call his people up into the air. But you got to know it'll be way sooner than you ever dreamed. If you know a friend who's a committed atheist, I would encourage you, don't give up. Look for an opportunity to get them to reconsider. Because I can tell you right now, if you could manage to help them turn around, you'll both be glad. And you'll both rest a lot more in peace now and forever. Now here's that thing that I wrote for my buddy and his quandary to do the work that he did for a living as opposed to doing the work that he loved to do. This is called Heart and Hands. The artist stares at his desk and then at the wall. His hands perform tasks he doesn't cherish at all. He longs for his freedom, but he lives with the pain that his hands can't hold on to what his heart can attain. The artist struggles to be what others perceive, but this feeling surrounds him and it just doesn't leave. He wants to paint pictures to show it's in vain when his heart can't hold on to what his hands can attain. If he could just get his heart and hands together, I think his doubt would have to cease. If he could just get his heart and hands together, I know he'd paint a masterpiece. The artist sits in a room with a beautiful view, but he does only things he thinks he has to do. I wish he could see what he denies us all by keeping his visions locked behind a wall. And that leads me to another painful day of anxiety. And the effects of it range from silent crying to freaked out scenes in public places and even to assaults. Day after painful day after painful day. Oh, maybe I should clarify. I'm not talking about me. Good heavens, no. I trust that Jesus Christ loves me and that he'll never leave me nor forsake me. So I'm covered by the Creator and the source of life. No anxiety over here in Funderland, I can guarantee that. Well, I might get a little anxious if the power goes out while I'm recording this, but even then I have a backup. The anxiety I'm talking about is posted thousands, maybe even millions of times a day on social media. For example, I'm going to share some of the posts that I found on X, formerly known as Twitter, and there are tons more, so many more. I couldn't go through them all if I spent my whole day scrolling. But here's 6 examples of what people posted. I'm just going to read what they posted, and I'll just say, 1, 2, etc., etc. Okay, 1. I wonder if I'm the same. I had a kind of psychotic breakdown from anxiety and have been on drugs for 8 years and feel worse, not better. 2. Some members of this generation will film themselves crying in the car over social anxiety. It's all in their heads. Reopen the asylums. 3. Are we too soft on our kids? What's happening with teen anxiety? Why are so many boys taking medication for ADHD? 4. I don't like this. I feel like I'm overwhelming her with my anxiety, my unexplainable fear of her doing indecent things behind my back, and I'm fighting my own thoughts. She's truly a good girl, and I'm the crazy one. I'm afraid that I might push her away with my neediness. Side note, dude, if you're a guy who wants a girl, don't be needy. 5. A man in the video posted a flag on a Facebook post, and the UK police showed up to arrest him for causing gross offense with a menacing character, which caused someone anxiety. And 6. Intelligence without courage leads to anxiety because you will spend your time overthinking instead of acting, taking risks, and improving your life. Okay, that 6th mention of anxiety is an interesting cause. And there were also lots of people who showed their concern that most anxiety happens because people are self-focused instead of nurturing a relationship with God. Yep, I've mentioned that a lot of times on TonyFunderburk.com, but that's another thing. And I found another hashtag post, hashtag pain post that simply stated a cure in 3 words. Action alleviates anxiety. I like that one a lot. In fact, it reminds me of a time back in 1990 when a particularly tough migraine hit me. I've had those since I was in my 20s. Now, I can take a lot of pain, and that's not bragging, it's just a fact. But that painful day was more challenging than usual. It hurt. I mean, seriously hurt. So I wrote a song about it. That's what I did. I took action to alleviate any anxiety from it. And I used some indignantly angry personification. Try to say that fast 3 times. Now, your results might vary, but here's what I wrote. Mr. Pain. And by the way, this is a song. I couldn't find it before I recorded this episode, so I'll have to keep looking to see if I can find it again. It's called Mr. Pain. He'll come and jump into your arms. He'll stay and try to steal your heart. And he'll push and make you say his name. He'll shove because he makes force and art. He's tough. He turns you inside out. He's mean. He means to have it all. And he'll push and make you scream his name. He'll shove. But don't you ever fall. Don't fall for Mr. Pain. He can be seen through. Mr. Pain, you can be mean to Mr. Pain. Leave me alone. Oh, Mr. Pain, he can be lied to. Mr. Pain, at least that's what I'd do. Mr. Pain, leave me alone. He'll smile and stab you in the back. He'll pound when he's inside your head. And he'll grab and pull you to your knees. He'll yell, but you yell back instead. Yell back at Mr. Pain. And then I repeat the chorus there. And then there's a bridge. You've got a reason to live, a reason to be in this place. Take all the pain he can give and throw it right back in his face. And then I would sing the chorus again and, yada, yada. Okay, I think that's enough talk about death and pain and anxiety. How about that for a cheerful episode for you of the FunderCast? And I'll finish out by asking you to remember that the FunderCast is brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com. What a coincidence, right? Go over there if you haven't already and put your email address at TonyFunderburk.com. An easy place to do it. Click the little blue button. And I'll send you some free stuff right away once you confirm that that's what you wanted to do. I'll send you some music and a book and stuff that kids will like, you'll like. People will like it. Yeah, people have liked it. They enjoy it. And that's called the Funder Flash Journal that you'll be signing up for. And you'll be joining a body of believers who get my daily flashes of light from the power of God's love.